Henry the Hedgehog and the Frosty Morning, narrated by Lisa Jamieson. In the heart of the whispering woods, where the trees murmured secrets to the wind, and the grass sparkled like tiny stars in the morning light, a small hedgehog named Henry stirred from his nest of golden leaves. The air was crisp, and a thin layer of frost covered the ground, making everything look as though it had been dusted with sugar. Henry stretched his little paws and wiggled his nose.
Ooh, winter is whispering at the door.
He shivered. He carefully stepped out of his cozy den, his tiny paws crunching the frosted leaves beneath him. He loved a frosty morning, the way his breath puffed into tiny clouds, the way the world smelled fresh and new, and most of all, the way the frost made everything shimmer in the early sunlight. As Henry waddled through the woods, he noticed little ice crystals clinging to spiderwebs, making them look like fairy lace. The brook that usually babbled and splashed now lay still, a thin sheet of ice hugging its surface. Henry gave it a gentle tap with his paw.
It's not frozen solid yet,
he said to himself. Just then, a soft rustling came from above. He looked up to see Bella the barn owl, perched on a frosty branch. Her feathers were fluffed against the cold.
Good morning, Henry. Off on an adventure?
Henry grinned.
I'm just enjoying the frost. It makes the world look magical, don't you think?
Bella nodded wisely.
Indeed, but be careful. Frosty mornings can be tricky. Watch out for slippery spots.
Henry thanked her and continued on his way, his little paws leaving tiny tracks in the frost. He stopped near a bush where a bright red hollyberry peeked through the icy leaves. His friend Felix the Fox trotted up, his fiery fur tipped with white where the frost had kissed it.
Morning, Henry. Fancy a game of hide and seek?
Felix asked, his tail swishing eagerly. Henry chuckled.
I might be small, but I'd disappear in the frost like a snowflake.
Felix laughed, and the two played, darting between trees, their footprints crisscrossing in the frost like secret messages. As they played, the morning sun grew warmer, and slowly the frost began to melt, turning into tiny sparkling droplets. Henry sighed happily, watching the frost fade.
Frosty mornings don't last forever, but that's what makes them special,
he said. Felix nodded.
Yes, and there will always be another one to look forward to.
With the frost melting and the woods waking up, Henry made his way back to his cozy den, curling up in his warm leaves. As he drifted off to sleep for a little daytime nap, he smiled, knowing that tomorrow would bring a new adventure in the whispering woods. And with that, the forest whispered him to sleep. Sleep tight, sweet dreams, and I'll see you on our next adventure.